along with all his house, who loved the Jewish people. He gave assistance to the people, always praying, being a Yireh Yahweh, a fearer of Yahweh, and a righteous man, called for Kepha, and Kepha went into the home congregation, and the entire congregation got saved, and the Ruach HaKodesh fell, and they began to speak with other tongues as the Ruach HaKodesh gave the utterance. This was a home fellowship with Cornelius.
This tape is only 60 minutes, and we don't have a rewinder.
All the other tapes are...
21.
Take a look what's going on here, please. So Cornelius' group was a home fellowship. Romia, where are we here? Oh, 10-2, okay. I'm going to go quickly now because for the sake of time. Maaseh Shlichim, 12:12. Maaseh Shlichim, 12:12. And when he had realized this, he came into the bayit of Miriam, the Ima of Yochanan, whose surname was Moshe Marcus, where many were gathered together making tefillah. And as Kepha knocked at the door of the gate, a young girl came to listen named Rhoda. Again, so Peter escapes from prison, comes to the house of Yochanan, Moshe's mother, where the Kehillah was gathered praying. Where were they gathered? In the home. And Rhoda comes to answer the door. Isn't that beautiful?
Amen.
Isn't that beautiful?
Amen.
Did Peter know where the early believers met, Darryl?
Yes.
He sure knew where to go. And did he go on his own? No. Who opened up the prison gates for Shimon Kepha, according to Maaseh Shlichim 12? Malach, the angel. The angel not let him out. The angel told him where the early congregation was meeting. We're okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh.
Amen.
Brothers and sisters, we need to embrace the pattern. 1650. Maaseh Shlichim. 1650. And when she was immersed and her household, she asked us, saying, if you have judged me to be faithful to Yahweh, come into my bayit and stay there. And she urged us. Who's the she? Lydia. Verse 14. Lydia, a seller of Techelet, from the city of Thyatira, who was a worshiper of Yahweh. She received the good news at the river on Shabbat. She was evangelized outside the home. But once she gave heed to the things spoken of by Rav Shaul, she was mikvah, and then said, come into my house and stay there.
Wow.
Why did she ask Rav Shaul to stay there? To start a home fellowship.
Embracing the pattern.
Baruch Hashem
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Amen.
1632. 1632. Maaseh Shlichim. And when they spoke to him the word of the Master Yahweh, and all that were in his bayit, he took them in the same hour of the night, washed their stripes. They were mikvah, he and his mishpacha right away. Verse 34. When he had brought them into his bayit, he prepared food for Chavurah. He rejoiced, believing in Yahweh with his bayit. Who's the he? Who's the he? The Philippian jailer. Got saved, took Rav Shaul and Silas to his home, and started a home group, a home fellowship. We think of the Philippian jailer getting saved and getting baptized right in front of the prison. No, he got saved, he got baptized, and the Philippian jailer returns to his home, and he says, Rav Shaul, can you do us a favor and please stay And the keeper of the prison told this to Shaul, and he said he brought them to his house. They had chavurah, they sang songs, they worshiped Yahweh, they believed Yahweh, not just the Philippian jailer, but what else? The whole house.
Oh, man.
Why do they want him to stay there? A home chavurah. Exactly.
Wow.
Amen. Look at verse 40. And when they went out of the prison, they entered into the Bayit of Lydia. And when they had seen the Israelite brothers, they comforted them and left. So, when Kepha and Silas had appealed to the Roman authorities and showed them they were wrong in having beaten them unlawfully, they entered Lydia's house and they saw two people drinking coffee in their pajamas.
No. I don't think so.
Well, lo and behold, Sister Cecile, what did they find? A whole bunch of Israelite brothers who needed to be comforted. And they comforted them in their home fellowship, in their home congregation. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Because Lydia had started a home fellowship. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. I had one 16:19. Oh no. Okay. 2020. No, 17:5. Maseh Shlichim, 17:5. Is anyone enjoying?
Oh, yes, we are.
Oh man. 17:5. But the Yehudim who did not believe, notice, moved with envy, they took some wicked men from the city streets, gathered a large mob, and caused disturbances in the city, and they assaulted the Bayit of Jason.
Wow.
And sought to bring them out to the people. When they found them not, they drew Jason and certain Israelite brothers to the rulers of the city. Okay, so these wicked men, some of the Jews, moved with envy, entered Jason's house, trying to bring Jason and the other brothers into the streets to be beaten and so forth. They gathered a large mob and caused disturbance in the city and assaulted his house. Look at the end of verse 5. Acts 17:5. To bring them, who's them? Who's them? I thought it was Jason's house. Who's them? I thought it was Jason's house.
Yeah, they were all in there.
All the mishpacha were in Jason's house.
Amen.
And they wanted to bring the whole bunch of them, and they were very upset. They only found Jason.
Because they didn't.
Look, they found them not. Look at verse
They
6.
didn't live there. They just.
That's right. They were just fellowshipping there. Exactly.
Wow, that's beautiful.
They weren't living there. They were just fellowshipping there.
Beautiful.
The Nazarene Israelites were just fellowshipping there. So they came at a time when there was no scheduled meeting.
Amen. Wow.
You with me, Rivka? They came at a time where there was no fellowship meeting. So the only thing they did is found Jason. They beat up Jason. If they had come during a meeting, what would have happened? They would have beaten up the whole congregation.
Amen.
They were a fool.
Maseh Shlichim 2020. Maseh Shlichim. Rav Shaul says this to the Ephesian elders. 2020. This is not you Downs, this is Rav Shaul. And how I kept nothing that was profitable for you, but I have shown you and taught you publicly from Bayit to Bayit, testifying both to the Yehudim and to the Greeks, Teshuvah before Yahweh, and Emunah toward our Master Yeshua HaMashiach. Notice, Rav Shaul says, look, when he departs from the Ephesian elders, I have done everything profitable for you, and publicly. Where? In the synagogues? No. I taught you, and I discipled you. Where? In your house, his house, her house, every house where there were groups of believers. And who was he talking to? He was talking to the Ephesian elders. So where were the Ephesian elders discipled? The Ephesian elders were discipled in a home fellowship, in a home congregation.
And
Amen.
they were the zip.
Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
Wow.